The condescending welcome. The massive doors of the Galactic Assembly opened with a whisper of advanced technology, and Ambassador Elena Vasquez stepped through with measured confidence. Behind her walked a small team of Earth's finest minds. Dr. Marcus Chen, an archaeologist whose theories about ancient civilizations had been dismissed as fantasy until last month, Lieutenant Sarah Cross, a military strategist with an uncanny ability to see patterns others missed, and Dr. Raj Patel, a quantum physicist whose work had accidentally discovered the faster-than-light communication that brought Earth to the galaxy's attention. The assembly hall stretched before them like a cathedral built for giants. Crystalline pillars rose hundreds of meters into the air, pulsing with soft bioluminescent light. Representatives from over 200 species filled the tiered seating arrangements, their forms ranging from the gracefully ethereal to the geometrically impossible. At the center of it all sat the High Council of the Stellarian Empire, the self-proclaimed shepherds of galactic civilization. High Chancellor Zixi Theta regarded the human delegation with what Elena could only interpret as amusement. The Stellarians' elongated head tilted slightly and their three eyes blinked in sequence. When they spoke, the universal translator rendered their melodious tones into perfectly condescending English. Welcome, children of Earth, to the grand stage of galactic civilization. How exciting this must be for you. Taking your first tentative steps beyond your cradle world after merely 60 years of space travel, we remember our own first millennium among the stars with fond nostalgia. Elena maintained her diplomatic smile, though she noticed Sarah's jaw tighten slightly. The lieutenant had predicted this exact attitude during their preparation meetings. The galaxy, it seemed, measured worth in millennia, and humanity's decades barely registered as a heartbeat. We are honored to stand before this distinguished assembly, Elena replied, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. Earth comes seeking knowledge, friendship, and our place among the stars. A ripple of what might have been laughter passed through the alien delegates. A being composed entirely of shifting crystalline matrices chimed in, their voice like wind through glass. How refreshingly earnest. The Krillax achieved interstellar travel 30,000 years ago, yet we still remember the naive optimism of youth. Fear not, young humans. The assembly will guide you, as we have guided countless infant species before you. Dr. Chen stepped forward slightly, his eyes scanning the elaborate murals that decorated the chamber walls. Each panel depicted the history of a different member species, their rise from primitivity to spacefaring civilization. But something about the artistic styles nagged at him, a familiarity he couldn't quite place. The orientation continued for hours. The assembly explained the rules of galactic trade, the restrictions placed on juvenile species, and the technology-sharing agreements that wouldn't apply to Earth for at least 500 years. Each pronouncement came wrapped in patronizing assurances that humanity would understand when they were older. During a break in proceedings, Dr. Chen pulled Elena aside. His normally calm demeanor showed cracks of excitement. Ambassador, I need to show you something. Look at these murals, specifically the oldest sections of each civilization's history. Elena followed his gesture, studying the ancient artwork. What am I looking for? The mathematical constants hidden in the decorative patterns. Every single civilization has them, buried in their oldest art. The same constants, the same sequences, even the same aesthetic choices in how they're integrated. It's statistically impossible unless they had a common source, Elena finished, her diplomatic training keeping her expression neutral despite her racing thoughts. Dr. Patel had been running scans with his equipment, supposedly checking for communication interference. He joined them, his face pale. Ambassador, the quantum resonance signatures of this station, of all their technology, it's not alien to us. The baseline frequencies match theoretical predictions from Earth's background radiation, predictions based on patterns we found in our planet's crust that we thought were natural formations. Before Elena could respond, the session resumed. High Chancellor Zixi Theta called for order. Now, young humans, we must discuss your planet's evaluation. Our scouts have reported some unusual readings from Earth's geological structure. Nothing concerning, merely curious anomalies that sometimes occur in younger worlds. Sarah Cross had been silent throughout the meeting, but now she spoke up. High Chancellor, might we ask what kind of anomalies? The Stellarian's three eyes focused on her with surprise. simply dense metal deposits in unusual patterns, structures that seem almost artificial but are clearly natural formations. Your planet shows signs of multiple extinction events and recoveries, quite remarkable for such a young world. Dr. Chen couldn't contain himself any longer. Young? Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Our fossil record shows evidence of complex life going back over 600 million years. Impossible, scoffed a delegate from the Vorten Confederation. No world develops spaceflight in such a short time after life emerges. The minimum development period is 3 billion years. Your dating methods must be flawed. The human team exchanged glances. They had brought evidence just in case. Elena nodded to Marcus, who activated his holographic projector. Images filled the air above their platform. Photographs from the Mars excavation, the Antarctic discoveries, the deep ocean findings that had been classified until this moment. These structures were found buried beneath millions of years of geological strata. Dr. Chen explained. Carbon dating, radiometric analysis, and quantum decay patterns all confirm their age. 2 million years at minimum, some possibly older. They contain mathematical formulas, star charts, and technological blueprints that match. He paused, then pulled up another set of images. The assembly hall fell silent as the comparisons appeared. Stellarian technology, Krillax architecture, Vorten mathematical proofs, all appeared side by side with the ancient Earth artifacts. The similarities were undeniable. They matched the foundations of every spacefaring civilization in this room. Chen finished quietly. The silence that followed was deafening. For the first time since the humans had arrived, the condescension was gone from the aliens' expressions, replaced by something that might have been fear. High Chancellor Zixi Theta stood slowly, all three eyes wide. This is not possible. The progenitors are myth, legend. They never existed. Or perhaps, Elena said, stepping forward with newfound confidence, they did exist, and perhaps you've been looking at them all along. Dr. Patel brought up his quantum readings on the display. Every piece of technology in this room resonates with Earth's background frequency. Not similar, not comparable, identical. As if Earth was the template, the original, and everything else is a copy. The Krillax representative's crystalline form flickered rapidly, a sign of agitation. You're suggesting that humanity, a species that only achieved spaceflight 60 years ago, are somehow connected to the mythical progenitors? That Earth, which shows no signs of ancient advanced civilization, was their homeworld? Sarah Cross spoke up, her military training evident in her precise words. What if that's exactly what we're suggesting? What if humanity suffered a collapse so complete that we forgot our own history? What if we're not the newest species in the galaxy, but the oldest, simply returning to reclaim our place? The assembly erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted in hundreds of languages, the universal translators struggling to keep up. Some called the humans liars, others demanded proof, and a few seemed to be backing away from the human delegation as if they were dangerous. High Chancellor Zixi Theta raised the appendage for silence. When the noise finally died down, they spoke carefully. These are extraordinary claims requiring extraordinary evidence. The Council will need to investigate these artifacts personally. If what you suggest has any merit, then the entire understanding of galactic history is wrong, Elena finished. And humanity isn't a child race taking its first steps. We're ancient beings who forgot how to walk, and now we're remembering. The implications hung in the air like a storm about to break. Every species in the room had built their identity on their age, their seniority in the cosmic order. If humanity was older than them all, if Earth was the true cradle of galactic civilization, then everything they believed about themselves was a lie. Dr. Chen activated another hologram, this one showing a partial star map recovered from the Gobi Desert. Buried under sediment dated to 1.8 million years ago, several delegates gasped as they recognized their own home systems, marked and cataloged in a script that predated their own written languages. We didn't come here just to join your community, Elena said, her voice carrying new authority. We came to understand why we remember you, why your oldest stories feel familiar, why your technology sings in harmony with our planet's core. We came to learn if we are your children, or if perhaps you are ours. The truth unveiled. 3 weeks had passed since the revelation in the assembly hall. The Stellarian Empire had sent their best scientists to Earth, accompanied by representatives from dozens of other species. What they found in the deep ocean trenches of the Pacific changed everything. Dr. Marcus Chen stood in the submersible command center, 5 kilometers beneath the ocean's surface. Around him, alien and human scientists worked side by side, their previous condescension replaced by nervous excitement. The sonar readings showed it clearly, a massive structure, perfectly preserved by some unknown technology, waiting beneath millions of years of sediment. "Pressure shields are holding," reported Lieutenant Cross from her station. She had insisted on leading the security detail, though what they might need security from at this depth was anyone's guess. "The structure is responding to our approach. Energy readings are increasing." High Chancellor Zixa Theta floated in a specially designed pressure suit, their 3 eyes fixed on the monitors. "This technology, it's actively maintaining itself after all this time. The power source must be extraordinary." Dr. Patel's hands flew over his quantum scanners. "It's not just maintaining itself. It's been waiting. The quantum signature suggests it's been in a standby mode, consuming minimal energy while monitoring for specific activation conditions." "What kind of conditions?" Elena asked from the primary command seat. Before anyone could answer, the ocean floor began to shift. Massive sections of sediment fell away as if repelled by an invisible force. The structure beneath revealed itself slowly, majestically. It was a perfect sphere, 200 meters in diameter, its surface covered in the same mathematical patterns found in every ancient civilization's art. "By the 7 suns," whispered the Krillax representative. "It's beautiful." The sphere pulsed once, and every piece of technology in the submersible resonated in response. Then, without warning, they were no longer in the submersible. They stood in a vast chamber, dry and filled with breathable air. The transition had been instantaneous, impossible, yet undeniably real. "Spatial translation," Dr. Patel breathed. "It brought us inside without breaching the hull. This is beyond anything in the galaxy." The chamber walls came alive with light. Holographic projections filled the space, showing star systems, species, and technologies in intricate detail. At the center of it all, a figure materialized. It was human in appearance, but somehow more, as if someone had taken the concept of humanity and perfected it. "Welcome home," the figure said in every language simultaneously. "I am the archive, the final testament of the first iteration of humanity. You have returned at last, though later than we calculated." Elena stepped forward, her diplomatic training overridden by sheer awe. "You're an artificial intelligence?" "I am memory made manifest," the archive replied. "I have waited 1.7 million years for humanity to rediscover spaceflight and return to the stars. Though I must admit I expected you to remember more." High Chancellor Zixa Theta's voice shook. "The progenitors, they were human?" The archive turned to regard the alien delegation with something like sad recognition. Our children have come too." "Yes, Chancellor. Every species in your assembly carries our mark, our gift. We seeded the galaxy with life, nurtured civilizations, and shared our knowledge freely. We were already ancient when your worlds were young." The holographic displays shifted, showing humanity as it once was. Cities that floated in the clouds, ships that traveled between galaxies as easily as crossing a room, technologies that seemed like magic even to the advanced species present. Earth was shown as the shining heart of an empire that spanned not just the Milky Way but 12 neighboring galaxies. "What happened?" Dr. Chen asked, his archaeologist's mind desperate for answers. "How did we fall so far?" The archive's expression became sorrowful. "Pride, ambition, the eternal human failings. We discovered how to transcend physical reality, to become beings of pure consciousness. Many chose that path, abandoning the physical universe. Others fought against it, believing flesh and matter were sacred. The war that followed. Images of devastation filled the chamber. Weapons that deleted matter from existence. Viruses that rewrote DNA in real time. Temporal bombs that erased entire timelines. The war had been fought on every possible level of reality. We nearly destroyed everything," the archive continued. "In the end, the survivors made a choice. They would reset humanity, purge our genetic memory, destroy our technology, and let us evolve again naturally. They hoped we would learn wisdom in our second childhood. Some fled to other galaxies to start anew. Others transcended despite the taboo. And a few stayed to watch over Earth, dying natural deaths as the last of the first iteration." Sarah Cross studied the tactical displays. "But you left markers, breadcrumbs for us to follow." "We left more than that," the archive smiled. "We left you with guardians." Every alien in the room suddenly understood. Their oldest myths, Their stories of wise teachers who appeared from nowhere to guide them. Their technological breakthroughs that seemed to come from divine inspiration. You were the progenitors, the Krillax representative said. Humans who chose to guide rather than abandon. The colonies we established evolved into your species over the millennia, the archive confirmed. Adapted to your worlds. Changed by time and environment, but still carrying our genetic legacy. Every spacefaring species in this galaxy descends from humanity. You are all our children, our legacy among the stars. High Chancellor Zixtheta's form rippled with emotion, then our condescension, our treatment of humanity as inferior. Was children forgetting their parents' faces? Elena said softly. You preserved the knowledge we gave you but forgot where it came from. The archive gestured and new displays appeared. I am authorized to return certain technologies to humanity, and through them to all our children. Not the weapons of our folly, but the tools of growth. Medical technology to end death by aging, energy systems that tap into vacuum fluctuations, faster than light travel that makes distance meaningless. Dr. Patel was examining the equations flowing past. This would revolutionize everything. Why now? Why not when we first achieved spaceflight? Because you needed to meet your children as equals, not as gods, the archive replied. You needed to experience humility, to understand what it feels like to be considered inferior. This was the final test, and you passed. You came to the assembly not with weapons or demands, but with open hands and evidence. You sought truth rather than dominance. The Stellarian High Chancellor approached Elena. For the first time, they lowered themselves in what their species considered a bow of deepest respect. We have been fools. We measured age in years when we should have measured wisdom in actions. Humanity has shown more maturity in 60 years than we have in 60,000. Around the chamber, other aliens followed suit, each showing respect in their own way. The children were acknowledging their parents at last, but Elena raised her hand. No, we're not your parents, not anymore. We're family. We've all grown and changed. Humanity may be older, but we're also newer. We have much to learn from what you've become, just as you can learn from what we remember. The archive nodded approvingly, spoken like the humans we hoped you would become. The technologies I offer come with one condition. They must be shared freely with all. The age of hierarchies based on seniority ends now. The galaxy moves forward together, or not at all. Dr. Chen was studying a particular display showing genetic markers. This says that humans can trigger dormant memories in other species, help them remember their origins more clearly. Yes, the archive confirmed. Just as meeting them has begun to awaken memories in you. Dreams of other worlds, knowledge you shouldn't have, instincts that make no sense for Earth-born creatures. These will grow stronger. In time, perhaps within a generation, humanity will remember more of what it was. Sarah Cross asked the military question. Are there threats? Other galaxies that might see our return as dangerous? The archive's expression grew serious. The universe is vast. Not all of humanity's children grew kind. Some remember us and hate us for abandoning them. Others fear what we might become again. But that is tomorrow's challenge. Today is for reunions and truth. The chamber began to pulse with a new rhythm. The archive smiled. The Earth itself is awakening. Hidden caches will reveal themselves. The infrastructure we buried is responding to humanity's return to space. Your world will bloom with forgotten wonders, though I suggest you prepare your population. The archaeological community is about to become very busy. As if in response, alerts began flooding in from the surface. Structures were emerging from deserts, rising from ocean floors, revealing themselves in mountain ranges. Earth was remembering itself. High Chancellor Zixtheta looked at the human delegation with something approaching awe. What will you do now? Elena looked at her team, then at the assembled aliens, their family among the stars. We learn, we grow. We help everyone adjust to this new reality, and most importantly, we make sure that this time, humanity's gift to the galaxy is wisdom rather than just knowledge.